everybody? It's Bets checking back in. We got our Week 8 top plays and stacks video. I'm going to go over every single top play of mine. Also give you 3 game stacks that I particularly am going to target for the high-risk GPP contest that we will be entering. Millie Makers, the play action contest. A lot of people are involved in those, so we need to differentiate our lineups accordingly. Before we get going, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment below on who you think goes off this week. Don't forget, every Sunday morning, check out my live Twitch show on the dot at 10:30. 10:30 in the morning, every Sunday. Check me out. Free picks and props. Also, guys at Occupy Fantasy have been killing it. They just had like a $28,000 winner last night for the NFL Showdown slate. They had one of the greatest lineup optimizers in the DFS landscape. Click that join button below with the link. And then also just struck a deal with Match Bets. Those guys are one of the craziest concepts I've considered is head-to-head sportsbook wagering. So if I put a bet out there, so one of you guys can go and pretty much bet the opposite, and it's just head-to-head. And if nobody takes that particular bet, you end up going against their house, the sportsbook itself. But it's designed to go head-to-head. So if your buddies want to go at it, it's a pretty good, quality concept. I thought it was very, very interesting. I'll probably run a lot of promos with that to get people to maybe go against me or whatnot, but I definitely want you guys to check that out. Sign up with the link below. So without further ado, let's go. All right, so let's go through our top stacks of the week. As always, if you've been tuning into any of the shows, any of the YouTube videos, we do our 3x1 game stacks. So what we like to do is we take 3 people from either quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end, and then we run it back with a pass catcher from the other side of the game. So first one that we're going to go with is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the New Orleans Saints. So love this game right here, especially at the Superdome. Points are always scored there, and just from the beatdown that they gave the Bears, the Bucs should be continue to roll. And then we have a great run back with Alvin Kamara on the other end. Then you can also flip the other side and kind of get a little bit different on that end. So what I mean by that, so if we want to go Brady, and if we want to maybe just go Godwin and Evans, as you guys know, Evans had that big game last week, 31 fantasy points, 3 touchdowns. So you go Brady, Evans, Godwin. Great thing about this is there's no Antonio Brown, and Gronk is going to be probably activated, but we'll see how well he does play or how much he does play. But I would probably just lean with a lot of these game stacks to have Brady, Evans, Godwin. If you want to differentiate yourself a little bit and fade maybe Evans or Godwin, one of them, and maybe plug in a Ty Johnson. So he was kind of the big sleeper last week. Ends up being $100 more this week. Maybe another week under his belt. There's no Scotty Miller. He could potentially see a little bit more run. That's just to get a little bit different with this game stack. However, I'm going to probably keep it simple and go Brady, Evans, and Godwin. And then the run back, what we're talking about here is either Kamara, since he's probably one of the better plays on this entire slate with his receiving ability. And now that they just have Mark Ingram, he's supposed to be able to play on Thursday or on Sunday, and we'll see how that's implemented. There's a big report that Alvin is going to be implemented the way he was supposed to be this year, maybe wideouts, slots, everything like that. So we will see how that translates, but I'm going to plug him in. This is a very expensive stack, so if you are going this route, make sure you do have some value plays. I'll have some value plays in the top play section as well. But this is one of those stacks that gets fairly expensive, just like those Mahomes and Kelsey ones last week with Derrick Henry coming back. So that's the way I like this game. You could flip it. You can go Winston, Kamara, Callaway. Winston, Kamara, Callaway, and you could come back with either one of those receivers, Godwin, Evans, or you could come back with Lenny Fournette. More than likely going to come back with Godwin or Evans. And I would lean probably to Godwin, because I think there's going to be a little bit, I wouldn't say less touchdowns, but less touchdowns directed towards Mike Evans because of the Gronk coming back. So the second game that we are going to stack is the Colts, or the Titans at the Colts. So we'll see. We'll pull those guys up here. And I lean the Colts offense a little bit more than the Titans in this matchup. Like the way Wentz is looking, and this Tennessee's defense is not very good. So if you tuned in last week and watched the horrific performance by the Chiefs offense, that's an outlier. This Tennessee Titans team gives up a lot of yardage, a lot of touchdowns, and now they come back with one of the hottest teams probably in the NFL in the Colts. So he's finally came true to form, a little bit more healthy. And this was even in the rain last week. 17 completions for he only had 150 yards, but for 2 touchdowns in the pouring rain. Ran it a little bit more, ran it for a touchdown. I expect him to be more of a pocket passer in this game and spread it out for sure. So if we go Carson Wentz, we'll pair him with Pittman. You could pair him with Pittman and T.Y. Hilton, I think Hilton will end up playing. Depends if Hilton plays, or you go to Zach Pascal. This is a very, very good, cheap stack. So you can go Pascal, and then you come back with probably one of my favorite wide receivers of the week is A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown looks phenomenal. Julio Jones is out, so this is going to filter that for that run back to be A.J. Brown, practicing with no injury designation. So he should be good to go. If you flip it the other side, you could always not have A.J. Brown. You could flip that with come back with Henry. Just gets a little bit expensive. But Tannehill is in a great matchup because these Colts defense gets beat through the air. So you can go Tannehill, A.J. Brown. You can pair him with Derrick Henry, or you can pair him with another pass receiver, Westbrook. Westbrook here. I think Chester Rogers could be potentially out, but it's either one of those two with Julio being out. And then you come back with a Jonathan Taylor, or you come back with Michael Pittman. So that is the second stack that I like. So that particular game. Then we got the third one, which will be probably just a heavy 3-by-1 stack with this Buffalo Bills offense. So it'll be Miami at Buffalo. We will see if Devontae Parker plays. If he does play, I'll be very, very cautious of playing him on the run back. But this Josh Allen led Buffalo Bills offense is going to obliterate this Miami's defense here again, like they always do. So if you go Allen, you go with Diggs, you go with Sanders, or if you just say, hey, I'm going to fade Diggs, I'm going to go Beasley and Sanders. And then you have Sweeney as a tight end, who's very, very cheap and an elite offense. So you have some differentiated pieces that you can throw in the stack, which I truly love. And then on the way back, you can go Jalen Waddle, or you can come back with Gesicki. The reason why I like this 3-by-1 stack mainly on the Buffalo side is because the Dolphins' offense is so funneled to Waddle, to Gesicki. Those two guys are the main force of this offense. Isaiah Ford had a fluke touchdown last week. That probably won't happen again this week. I do like Waddle to bounce back, Gesicki to do his thing. So 3-by-1 stack here on the Buffalo Bills. All right, now we'll get into the top plays at each position. So I know in videos past, what we have for top plays are going to be outside of the game stack. So like quarterbacks, I'll give you 3 of them that I like if you want to just maybe game stack a different game. But my particular top plays are always in my game stacks. I never, ever put anybody else in. But for guys that maybe tuned in and don't like my game stacks, here's three guys that I potentially like. Jalen Hurts, Mr. Reliable here. He's going to get you 20-plus fantasy points every single time. Going against this depleted Lions defense. Also only a 3.5 point spread. So game could be potentially close, and we'll see how that goes here. Next one, Matt Ryan. This Falcons offense is coming around, and this almost was a 3-by-1 stack that I liked from the Falcons, running it back with DJ Moore. I might have that a little bit. I just can't put myself to back Sam Darnold again right now. I got to see it again, so we'll see. But I do like Matt Ryan. Pitts is coming to form. Ridley's there. Russell Gage. They have Cordell Patterson. So I like the options here, and they've won, I think, 4 in a row since they've started 2-0, or 3 in a row, one of the other. But I do like this Matt Ryan-led Falcons offense at home against this struggling Carolina Panthers defense. The last one, probably the most reliable quarterback so far this year, Matt Stafford. You pair him with Cooper Kupp, and he just absolutely obliterates people this year. This is a 16-point spread, so be careful here. If they do not get their points through the air, you could be completely screwed. So just be careful here. But too good of a play against this banged up Texans defense. But it's not doesn't warrant a game stack. But if you do like somebody outside of the game stack, I would go Matthew Stafford. So top running backs. So outside of the game stacks, you plug in these. I'm going to give you 5. I probably wrote down 3, but I liked 5. Number 1 is old reliable again, is DeAndre Swift. The guy just gets a lot of usage through the air. He got 10 targets last week, 7, 6, 6, and 7. That's who I want to target in a lot of these to pair with my game stacks, running backs that are in the pass game. Only thing that does suck about Swift this week is he's not a mid-priced guy. He's now finally in that next tier with that $7,000 range. So tread lightly. I probably won't have too much exposure of DeAndre, but he will be in my player pool. Then you got the Pittsburgh-Cleveland matchup. Nick Chubb, full participant in practice today. Today is Friday for those guys, for anybody watching. But I do like the 2 backs in this game. Najee here, just because his involvement in the pass game. No Juju Smith-Schuster still for the rest of the year. Najee will continue to be a loaded target volume share for the Steelers offense. And then you go to a price down, Nick Chubb at $6,800. Give me a lot of Nick Chubb. Guys going to ball out. He's had a couple of weeks off, I think. Yeah, a couple of weeks off plus maybe a bye week. No bye week, just a couple weeks off. But no full participant here. It's going to be Chubb and Dearness Johnson leading this 2-headed monster, and Dearness will go back to the back seat. Barring any injury to Chubb, that's the only concern here. But I like that he was a full participant today. Fire me up at $6,800 for Nick Chubb. Then some value plays. Well, one last person up here is Joe Mixon. If you've been tuning into videos as well, Swift and Mixon have been like pretty much my go-tos. Mixon up against this Jets defense that is horrific. I'm waiting for his props for his rush attempts to come out. If it's anywhere in the 15 to 16 range, I will hop on that ASAP. But I do like his matchup this week. Then the value play probably of the week is going to be Kenneth Gainwell. Like I said, I like to target guys that are in the pass game for their teams. This guy fits the mold, and he's $5,000. Miles Sanders was on the IR, now not on the IR, but still doesn't expect to be back for a couple weeks. So it's going to be Kenneth Gainwell. They called up Jordan Howard from the practice squad. It's going to be Gainwell, Boston Scott, and Jordan Howard. Kenneth Gainwell has the most talent there. He will be the one that shines. Give me some Kenneth Gainwell this week. So then we got our top plays at the wide receiver position. Again, these are in our stacks. So Bucks, Saints receivers, Titans, Colts receivers, and then the Bills receivers. So The ones that are outside of those that I would play with them, I'll give you 3 studs and 1 value guy. The stud, obviously, is this guy named Kupp. If you haven't heard of him, you've been living under a rock. This guy is Devontae Adams 2.0 from last year. And it's just kind of one of those guys that you either have to be overweight on the field with or completely fade. So I think his percentage ownership right now is around 18%, which for a 9,000 wide receiver, which is unreal. But you either have to not even match that. You need to go, double the field in that, or completely fade him if you want to get up in the leaderboard for these milli makers. So take a stance here. I'll probably end up doubling mine because I have a bunch of cheap game stacks besides the Bucks and Saints. I have 2 guys that are pretty cheap. I'll probably have a lot of Kupp this week. So this will be the week that Robert Woods goes off. So pretty fitting. But the second guy that's pretty high in price, DJ Moore, should be one of the top plays. Get a bunch of targets. He's gotten 12 plus last 5 games. Besides the one in Philly, which is the lower scoring game there. Look for DJ Moore to catch more of these intermediary routes from a struggling Sam Darnold. Again, this is a Falcons defense that can particularly be scored on. I think they're second or third worst in the league with points against. I think it's like 28 or 29. We'll see if Sam Darnold can perform. I'll put my trust in DJ Moore here. Not Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore. And then, depending on, he's limited this week, but I think he'll be okay. One of the nicest surprises for the fantasy community is Deebo Samuel this year. Guy's been unreal. I think he's the wide receiver 4 or 5 in all of fantasy. Guy absolutely getting after this year. Give me some Deebo this week against this Bears defense that should just get exposed. We'll see if it's Lance or Garoppolo throwing it to him. I think it'll be a package of both. And then my value play of the week is going to go to this Lions wide receiver 1, Khalif Raymond. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but Goff compared him to Kupp and Cooks and Robert Woods in the essence that he practices very hard and that he knows where he's going to be. So I think he is going to start gelling with Jared Goff and produce in an offense that struggles and comes from behind a lot. So they're going to be throwing, kind of like the Brandon Cooks. So probably bad for season-long fantasy, but for daily fantasy, you got to find these guys. So I like Khalif Raymond here to have a nice week against this Eagles defense at 5,300. Then the 4 tight ends that I'll give you, we got Kyle Pitts, number 1 rated or highest rated here. Guy is coming into form, dominating long receptions. He's gotten 10 targets, 8 targets, 9 targets the last 3 games. So Matt Ryan is finally trusting this guy. They're finally not even using him as a tight end, using him as that wide receiver that everybody thought he was going to be. Just classified as a tight end at 6,300. I think he's still too cheap. He should be in that 7,000 range. After this week, I think he's going to creep up there. Then we got Noah Fant going against this weak football team's defense. Only concern about this game is Teddy Bridgewater's health and if he's going to be able to put the ball down the field. So I'm going to be safe here, and I'm going to put Noah Fant as my second-rated play here. As always, these are also outside of our game stack. So if you like anybody from the Bucks, Saints, Titans, Colts, or the Bills, play those guys above these guys. So then we got Hunter Henry, little salary relief option here. He scored a touchdown, I believe, in 4 straight. Yep, touchdown in 4 straight. Just does not get too many targets. So if you are going to play him, you are looking for a touchdown here. But I ultimately think this game ends up being low scoring. If you guys have seen some injury reports, Eckler did not play or did not practice on Friday, so we'll see if he plays on Sunday. Just a heads up there. But I do like me some Hunter Henry. And then last but not least, just because it's a very, very good matchup, and he's ran so many red zone routes and red zone targets that he just needs to get in the end zone, is Tyler Higbee. I think he only has a couple on the year, but he's gotten targeted like 8 times. So positive regression coming his way. And I think if you guys see the reports today, Deshaun Jackson just requested a trade. So it's Higbee, Van Jefferson, Woods, and Kupp. Those are their 4 guys. So I like Higbee. They just need to get through the air here. So we'll see. But those are the 4 top tight ends that I like. So if you guys have another play that I didn't mention, throw it in the chat. I appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, follow me at DotBets on Twitter. And then we have the live stream at 10:30 live on Twitch Sunday morning. So I'll see you guys there, and appreciate you guys tuning in.